If you are a sharpener, you have seen this little ball bearing washer. They're pretty common now. But have you seen a shear that had 2 ball bearing washers on both sides? It's a new phenomena, and I'm going to show you how I dealt with it. This shear has a double ball bearing screw. It's a ball bearing here, and then there's a ball bearing on the other side, and it's a nightmare to put it back together. And the only way I know to put it back together is I have a little little nut, screwdriver nut sitting up here, and I have to set that on here, and then I'm going to bring this in place, tighten it down a little bit with my fingers, and then I have to use a UFO tool to put this together. And I like to show you when I come across some weird screws, and this is one I do not like. But you may want to fix your board with a screwdriver bit, or grow your third hand and a third arm. And we're going to call this the weird double ball bearing screw with the UFO tool and the regular bit. And this I might have to stand up to get it together. I did take it apart, so I am assuming I can put it back together. Now this shear, this is not the first time I've sharpened it, but I've cheated before and have not taken it apart. And I've sharpened it enough that now it is time. You can't do that forever. You can get by with it once, twice, but eventually these type of shears, you're going to have to take them apart. And I don't know whether we should charge them more or not. Now this particular one is a Hachi shear. I'm sure there's others out there. It's very pretty, but if I was a stylist, 2 ball bearing screws or not, it would be impossible for a stylist to try to adjust the screw if it loosened up. And this did come to me a little bit on the loose side. Now ball bearing screws, I grant you, don't loosen up as much as other types of screws, but you know, it's the law of entropy. Everything's going to loosen up, whether it's our double chins or sagging rear ends. Things are just going to loosen up, including the screws on these shears. So, get to watch me struggle with it. And it's a very wide. Now, I probably would do really well to have Harry's wand in putting this back together. And it's good to have extra ball bearing parts because you never know when you could drop it. Oh, guess what? Got it too tight. Now I need to loosen it up some. You see what happens if I don't have it on that thing? It just, both sides turn around. So I have to put it back on my little screwdriver bit. And I appreciate Jean for making this for me. There, I'm in place. And there's no clicker plate. There's nothing holding it together. See, so it could back out. That's it. And then how would a stylist tighten it? And I don't like the way that feels. Oh, needs to be a tad tighter. This is the only shear I've ever seen this type of screw in. And I hope I never see it again. Now that's too tight. Better make it looser. Just a tad. Let's see what that feels like. That one feels good. If you have suggestions or other ways to deal with this type of screw, put in the comments below. If you have never encountered it, you may want to save this in a playlist for yourself or some other type of thing so that you can refer back to it. You could actually, if you're in a salon and sharpening, you could go out and watch this video on your phone. I'm hoping this will be of some help to you. Just when you come across a weird screw, don't panic. If you can't take it apart and it's adjusted correctly, it has to be adjusted tight or tight enough, then maybe you just sharpen it without taking it apart. That's an option too. So subscribe, make sure you ring the bell for notifications, and I'll be putting out a lot more videos on weird screws and other sharpening tips. Hope this was helpful to you.